change, Pete, to their starting lineup tonight?
Yeah, they're bringing Dave Anderson in, and their starts have been awful so far. So they're looking for something different just to try and get off to a good start, and hopefully the old veteran can come in and give it a nice spark.
So the Taipans at home for Saturday night basketball. Only the third game in NBL20 that they've played in their own gym. They spent a lot of time on the road to start the season. And they're wearing their black strip tonight, part of a foster care charity. Every jersey will be auctioned off at the end of the game. Machado puts the ball on the floor. Oliver with an early look. He's short, off the hands of Ogilvy. Taipans ball from the baseline.
And they're going to have to come up with every loose ball, every rebound, the Hawks, because they shoot the ball at such a low percentage. Everything's going to count for them, and they're going to have to keep this crowd out of it as well. We know how they get involved early.
Kwartnoy from the inbound. He couldn't make it work. LaMelo with the rebound. Averaging 6.5 rebounds a game, LaMelo Ball. 6th in the competition for defensive rebounds. Anderson into the starting lineup tonight on the low block. He's got 7 to work with on the shot clock. Little baby hook is good.
And there it is, and he's come in and he's done exactly what they wanted from him. As we look at the keys to the game from the Cairns Taipans, going at their bigs, obviously they've been a bit slow to start with Josh Boone, AJ Ogilvy. They've got to look after the ball. They had the most turnovers in this league, and make LaMelo's life tough. The ball goes through him. Everything they create is through LaMelo Ball. So if they can control him, they're going to go a long time to win this game.
Here is LaMelo putting the ball on the floor. Anderson for back-to-back buckets. No good. LaMelo again crashing the rebounds. Blanchfield with an early look. That's what the Hawks will want. Early involvement from Todd Blanchfield.
And put that down to Ball as well. Another rebound, this time at the offensive end. Got himself the right spot, the right time. Great pass. And Blanchfield is such a confidence player. To get him an open one early is big.
He knows this venue well. Career high 32 points was against Cairns here last year. Pete, the keys to the Hawks?
Yeah, and as I said, get off to a good start. They're minus 38 in first quarters this season. They've been struggling with that, and they're off to a great one already. And as Hammer said, getting Blanchfield looks is so important. He's had a slow start to the year, but we know what he's capable of, so that's huge. And these young guys come off the bench, play with confidence, and you never know what could happen. That's what coach wants to see. That's what we want to see.
Oliver throws the ball away. Wild pass.
Wow. This is not the start that I expected, nor the crowd there in far North Queensland as well. We've certainly got excited, I think, about what Mike Kelly's been able to build in this second year of him at the helm.
Last in the competition for turnovers. It's not a good stat. Illawarra turned the ball over, though. Anderson trying to bite off a bit more than he could shoot. Taipans yet to get on the board. Newell looking to change that. And Noy. That helps. Taipans get their first bucket.
And that's from Newell. Again, exploring, penetrating, get part of the paint.
Ogilvy underneath. Good pass from Anderson, and he converts.
And I'll be interested to see tonight how many threes Ball actually gets up, shooting the ball at 19%. We know he's great when he gets in the pick and roll, lots of space, great decisions, as we see another bucket by Newell. But that's going to be part of his evolution in Ball. I think sometimes he's trying to prove the scout wrong. People say, well, that's your weakness, you can't shoot, so he's trying to prove it wrong, but he's actually, in fact, proving it right.
Blanchfield missing out. Illawarra 7, Cairns 4. Newell trying to get busy, goes hard on Anderson, worried him out of the points in the end. Loose ball, last touch by the Hawks.
It's great defense by DA right there, and he's been a great factor to start this game. Thrown him in the starting 5. He started it off with a nice turnaround jumper, which he's made a lot of money off in his career with that one, but that's just great defense from the big fella when getting the contact right into him.
From the inbound, Noy, catch and shoot. Battles in and out. Ogilvy with the rebound. He was super important when they played last time. Had to play a lot of minutes in round 2. Josh Boone breaking his nose early in their first matchup this year between the two teams. Ogilvy 19 points, 6 rebounds in that encounter.
This has been a good start for the Hawks as far as controlling the tempo. They want to be able to run it when they get stops, but they can't afford to turn it over. They don't want to get in a track meet against a team that's got more talent. So being able to pick and choose, get it to Dave Anderson, use his experience, I think he's going to benefit. They've done that early.
Ball up high. Got rid of Scott Machado. Blanchfield, his look off target. Anderson hits the glass hard. He's walked. And not happy about it either.
Oh, he's not happy with many of those when they go the other way, but I just love his energy. He's come in, he's causing these extra rebounds to fall in his way, and unfortunately got away with some happy feet there. Sorry, didn't get away with some happy feet, but I just love the energy Dave Anderson has started this game with.
Into their starting lineup tonight for the Hawks. They continue to play around with their starting five. Only one game this year they've had the same starting five 2 games in a row.
Incredible, really. But I think part of that was that they started with the wrong starting five from the very start. Trying to start with Boone and Ogilvie together was just never going to work. It was too top-heavy. Didn't have the mobility that the way the league's played. It's more an undersized league, the NBL, getting up and down, and now Coach Flynn has been able to make some adjustments.
Newell from the free throw line.
He's good.
He is good, and he's one player for the... I think the Cairns Taipans starting five is one of the most exciting to watch in this league. And if he can start to perform...
There's the steal. Newell at the other end, takes on ball, is blocked by Gritter on the way through. Taipans will get the ball back.
And I agree with that, Pete. They've done a good job. When these small budget teams, you can't sign 11 great players. So he's put his money, Mike Kelly, into a starting five, starting 6 really, that has as much ability as most teams in the competition, and not a lot coming off the bench when they have to start subbing. But when you're only playing once or twice a week, 40-minute games, I think sometimes subbing 10 players is overrated.
Low-scoring start. Noy puts the ball on the floor, absorbed the contact, couldn't get it to roll in. Blanchfield with the rebound for the Hawks. Mello trying to get busy from a long way back.
That's just a poor shot. They're the sort of shots that will fuel the transition for Cairns. Now, lucky they got the ball back that time, but he's a 19% three-point shooter, let alone just being able to pull up with any passes in the offense and spraying that thing up.
Anderson, nice touch from the big man.
Like you said, he's paid the bills for a long time. Got a lot of houses from that exact move for the big fella, being able to play with his back to the bucket, but also that mid-range jumper is nothing but cord.
47% from the field coming into tonight. A couple of early conversions. Jawai, good feed, Cam Oliver.
Speaking of exciting players, there's one. Cam Oliver started the season very well. And he is just another sort of athlete when he gets open like that. And that's a great feed by Big Nate, obviously causing the help to come across. And he can get up there with the best of them.
Well, he can. And I think he's a great target, not to score as much, but really being able to create a double team and get the opposition into rotations as well. And I think Oliver is a good complement with his mobility to Big Nate, who's not going to run around a lot, but he takes up some space.
Behind the back from LaMelo. Easy 2 for Dave Anderson. That was sweet.
That's exactly what you're talking about, Hammer. Didn't settle for the 3-ball attack. So many good things happen when he is in attack mode towards the rim. And that's a silky pass, and you have to finish that at your DA, but that's too easy down the other.
And that's the second bucket where they've gone inside to Big Nate, back out to Oliver, and then he's been able to attack. We know he can shoot the 3, but back to ball, you can just see his game translating to a great NBA player. When he's playing off on balls, he's got more space, his decision-making and length. Look at that.
He's drawn the foul with 1 to come.
That is NBA class right there. And his game's just built for the NBA that has so much more space because of their rules and the style of game that they play in the NBA as well.
Well, I'm wondering if he's got an earpiece since you told him that was a bad 3. He's taken to the rim twice and made 2 really good plays. You see that pass there, and it's a really, really tough finish over Big Nate. He's got a great touch around the rim. He's got a great floater. He's just really, really smart when he gets close to the rim.
And with his size, he's got that length like Joe Ingles that he can actually see people with better angles.
Join us on WhatsApp. Pete, this was your beauty tonight. Should the Hawks sign LaMelo's brother, LiAngelo?
Now, there's been a lot of talk, and I'm not sure how much substance it has behind it, but it'd be an interesting one for Hawks fans. Obviously, the Ball family, you've got Lonzo in the league, but LiAngelo, he's his older brother. He's the middle brother. He's a little bit unspoken of, but he can play as well. Well, he can play as well. He's not LaMelo's talent, but right now, if you're trying to get young guys going,
he's got his feet set here. LaMelo Ball nails the treble.
And you see that shot in transition when his feet are set wide open is a lot different than the first one he took when there had been no movement of the ball and he just flattened somebody down. His shot needs a lot of work. You have a look at the technical side, shooting it so low and shooting it in front of his face with two hands.
He's been superb in this game so far. And the Taipans want to have a chat about it, and understandably so. The Hawks have now scored the last 5 points in the game and opened up a 6-point lead. This was Thursday in New Zealand, Pete. A fantastic contest between United and the Breakers. A far more competitive and a far more spirited Breakers outfit on Thursday, but a huge win on the road for United.
Yeah, look, the score probably doesn't do it justice. I think Melbourne went in with a different level and they really dominated for 95% of that game, and New Zealand did well to bring it back towards the end. But right now, as Hammer said off air before, a lot of people, if you wrote off Melbourne United, that is silly because they are starting to build something really special, and they got a big test tomorrow, but they were excellent in this one, Hammer.
And not to forget that Casey Prather, that wins everywhere he goes, is back into the lineup as well. They've got depth, they've got quality, the way Long's playing and the way Golding can just light up. That third quarter, when they outscored New Zealand 28-8, I think it was impressive at the defensive end, but also at the offensive end. And anyone who thinks they aren't one of the favourites to be in the grand final is kidding themselves.
As Pete said, they'll take on the 36ers tomorrow inside Melbourne Arena. There's Josh Boone, former title winner with United. So the Taipans just need to stem some early bleeding. Illawarra started to get the game on their terms. Ball almost with the turnover, with the steal.
I think he's right. That looked like it was off Machado. Doing a little of extra work with the hair tonight too, is he? Scotty?
There's something going on there. Bit of extra elevation to it.
Bit of extra height. We like that.
Oliver at the free throw line. Bounced off the chest of Jawa. Got it back and put it back in.
Credit that as an assist for Nate. Surely he's had some good passes and that one just seemed to fall off his lap. But you've got to love Cam Oliver's energy. If they're going to sit in the defense like that, to have him create at the elbow, it's really good for Cairns.
And they score out of the timeout. Ball with the deep two. It's out of play. Well, has 5 points in the game to go with a couple of rebounds and 3 assists. Opening quarter at the Cairns Convention Centre. Oliver down low. Big Nate posting up Josh Boone. He was parked in the key.
Did he get his full 3 seconds in? I'm not sure he did. It seemed like it was pretty quick. He's a tough man to defend when he gets deep and gets set in the middle of that key. If I was defending him, I'd be yelling out how many seconds as well.
He rolled and caught the ball.
Mike Kelly asking the question.
I think he said the same. He rolled and caught the ball.
Yep. Boone, and he's back to the basket. Angus Glover enjoying some minutes in the opening period as well. Boone settles for the mid-range too. The back of the iron, and Newell with the rebound. Again, down in the low block. Big Nate transfers to Jared Kenny from the corner. Foul has been called here on Josh Boone.
A little bit of the old retaliate is going to get caught there, I think. They both had a good chunk of each other's jersey, but I'm loving Big Nate's energy. You saw him, he pushed Big Booney down out the way in transition and then just kept hunting for the ball. And as Hammer said, when he gets the ball deep, it's trouble.
And I like him when he goes and sets some screens as well and then rolls to the basket. I don't think they want to go too Nate heavy just to him every time, but they want to find ways to be able to balance it up, get Machado off on balls as well. But that's a shot you expect Jared Kenny to make. He's a very good spot-up shooter when his feet are set.
He was ejected last time the Taipans were at home against Melbourne. Jawa underneath. This is the easy two. And Illawarra up the other end. Angus Glover denied by Cam Oliver. That's going to leave a mark. And now Newell. Some fancy footwork. Just not much that Tim Conrad could do there.
And you can see, obviously, Mirko Jeric being put in the game. Illawarra's sitting in a zone right now, and they don't have that outside shooting without him on. And Cam Oliver, we talked about his athleticism, and got to give the Angus Glover, the young fella, confidence going in there. It's a great effort to come out and do that, but Cam Oliver has other ideas.
Well, he went in with a lot more confidence than he came out.
That's for sure.
But Oliver, he's an athlete. And yeah, I like Glover's mindset. Great attitude. Come back from numerous knee surgeries, so good on him for the persistence and being able to stay with it. Terrific athlete. So look forward to seeing him continue to advance his game with every week that goes by.
Last 3 games for Angus Glover, 14, 10 and 10 minutes. So he's being used by Matt Flynn. Jarwai thought he was heading to the bench, but he'll stay out there.
Well, it's a real balancing act for Matt Flynn, isn't it? Because, you know, he's been thrown into the first year of his contract. He's still got another year to come, so he'll want to get wins, but he'll also want to get some valuable time into some of these young kids that he can get, you know, more time and that they can contribute to more wins next year.
Here's another one, Emmett Nah, at 25 years old, Canberra native. Blanchfield, wonderful pass. Josh Boone with the stuff.
Todd Blanchfield being aggressive, and in the lineup they have on with no LaMelo right now, they're running him off screens and letting him work, and that's doing wonders for his confidence. And it's a great find of Josh Boone, and that's a way to finish strong. Go up and dunk it. Even if someone's going to come across, go up and dunk it.
And you're right, though. It's a mindset from Blanchfield. You can't have somebody run plays for you all the time. It just doesn't happen. You've got to take responsibility. He's a talented player. Look at that, just a pull through. He was the one who created for somebody else because he was aggressive and he's got the talent to be able to do it, and he needs to continue to back himself.
And we spoke about this last week in their game, and it's something, obviously, LaMelo Ball's off right now, so they can run some stuff for him. The big thing for him is going to be, when LaMelo's on, how does he get involved in the game? As you said, they're not going to run as much for him, whether he's moving a lot off the ball, but that's going to be what's the key to success for Illawarra, is when they're both on the court together.
The only thing that I'd say with that, and I heard you guys talking about it last week, and I didn't get an opportunity to be able to talk back with you from Canberra, but you don't always get a chance to have plays run for you. You have to take the responsibility. So he got the ball then. That wasn't a play for him. That was an aggressive rip through that he has the ability to be able to do, and I think he needs to go searching. I'd put Cam Glidden in the same thing. You can't always have plays run for you. Cam Glidden's a boomer. You've got to go make things happen like all great players do when the opposition takes you out of the game. What are you going to do?
They are an interesting study in themselves, the Brisbane Bullets. We'll talk more about them later on. Sunday Dech out there in his first minutes tonight. And there he is off the pass from Conrad. Nice play by the Hawks.
A really good cut, wasn't it? And good pass from Conrad. They're going to have to use their system like that to be able to get buckets. Dech can certainly play some D off the bench.
This is a bit messy from the Taipans, but they get out of it okay. I'm sure that's not how it was drawn up.
That's another one from Big Nate that's just fallen into one of his teammates' hand, but hopefully he gets another credit for that assist.
He'll claim the dime. Conrad from deep. Blanchfield reaching over has been called for the foul in the rebounding contest.
Gee whiz, wasn't a lot of contact there, I wouldn't have thought, from Blanchfield.
And Scott Machado just having a chat about a few things. Blanchfield sits down with his second foul.
I remember interviewing, actually I was just speaking to Machado before he played against Ball down there in Illawarra, and I said, oh mate, how you feeling coming to this game? And he sort of looked at me and he's like, how should he be feeling playing against me?
Ah, I see.
And I was like, oh, okay, I like that, mate. You're going to go at the young fella. He's like, just like any other game. I'm like, cut it out. You're going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA. You've got to go make a statement at these young fellas.
Ringing a few bells?
Well, I think you have to, don't you? You've got to have that mindset. I love it.
But it's an interesting one, Scott Machado. I've called a few of his games, and in the first half, he's a real facilitator. It takes a while. I like the way he reads the game, though. But in the second half, it's almost like a switch at halftime. Comes out shooting the ball a lot more, and he's ultra aggressive. And as we said, he's leading the league in assists. Love to get guys involved, but I'd like to see him with 40 minutes in that attack mode and aggressive mode, because he is extremely talented.
And you're right. We saw Robertson do exactly the same for Southeast Melbourne. Almost just allows other people to do it, but I'm not sure you can just pick and choose all the time when your team relies on you so much. I think you have to take the opportunities when they're there, whether that be creating for your teammates or whether it being able to put some points on the board as well. And the great point guards can really balance it.
Played the 4 games for the Los Angeles Lakers, Scott Machado. None of them with any sort of major impact, I suppose. Sorry, I was just checking the notes there at the same time. But
well, I think, you know, there's no doubt that this kid, if he was in the right situation in the NBA, he can compete in the NBA.
Yeah.
He can no doubt play a role. And, you know, we're seeing that from the NBL now. We've got NBA quality players all around the place, given the right opportunities and the right role, have no doubt they can stick.
Nah turns the ball over. Machado in the right place at the right time. The Taipans looking to try and take the lead on this possession, but they've given the ball up as well. And now it's the Hawks up the other end. Greeter in the corner. It started with him, and it almost finished with him. Boone tries to put it back in. Second time comes up good.
Great energy from the big fella coming off the pine. And as we talked about Scott Machado picking and choosing, the one previous, Emmett Nah, drive and attack to look to score, and if the bigs are just backing off you, you've got to have a look at your little floater. You tried to fling a cross-court pass, and no one really came to you. You've got to be in that attack mode. You can't really pick and choose.
And the Hawks just get the lead back out to 3. 7 seconds to work with here for Machado. He's drawn a foul.
And that's a good offensive play from a veteran point guard. But sometimes you can get caught up. That last drive to the basket should have just laid it up. But sometimes when you're leading the league in assists and you want to be that facilitator, you get there and you think, oh, I'll just give my teammate an extra one here and I'll keep getting my assists up, because that's what he obviously takes pride in. But being able to balance that of when he scores and passes is going to be critical for Cairns.
Late in the period. It's the first.
LaMelo trying to sub in. You didn't go to college. That's what you do in the college and the NBA. We don't do that here.
Make 2 from 2. He does exactly that. And now LaMelo can sub in. Machado will sit down. Illawarra to try and score from this last possession. They've got a great opportunity. The lob goes awry. The play was almost perfect.
Well, it was the right idea. He just had the wrong athlete on the other end of it.
This will take something special from the Taipans. And they can't conjure anything up. And just for the second time in NBL20, the Illawarra Hawks lead at quarter time. It is a 1-point lead. Saturday night basketball at the Cairns Convention Centre. The second of 2 games in round 6 on Saturday. Earlier today it was the Phoenix getting the job done over the Breakers. But here it is Illawarra leading at quarter time. And not a position they've been in all that often. They start the second quarter by going back to Dave Anderson, who in many ways was the spark plug in the first quarter.
And I like that. That's a great set play from Matt Flynn out of the quarter-time break. Go to your veteran in the block. He didn't score so far, but he was able to draw another foul early.
And here he is again, the big man. That is a wonderful pass for Josh Boone, who helps himself.
David Anderson, old faithful, just knows how to get it done. And I tell you what, I think we'll know how they'll be starting the next few games, the Illawarra Hawks. Keeping him in there, he has started terrific.
Matt Flynn's been playing around with his rotation, but this one's working. And now the fast hands and the turnover has the Hawks in possession. Dech is wide open. What a start to the second quarter for the visitors.
Oh, and that's a shot that he's not known of being able to make. Knocked it down that time.
Let's get down to Cam Tregar for his impressions on the opening period.
Well, hi, boys. Yeah, well, Scott Machado leads the league in assists, but it's been a LaMelo Ball masterclass setting up teammates like Todd Blanchfield, Dech just before, David Anderson a couple of times. I'm really liking this lineup from Matt Flynn. Just a bit more versatility with DA at the 4 spot, and so far their energy's been really good as they can't get one to go right there.
Energy's the key word, Cam. I think you're spot on, and it's been noticeable. LaMelo, everything working.
And he's celebrating too. I would too if I shoot 19%. What a 3.
That one goes down, and they have opened up a 9-point lead. The last 8 points in the game. The Taipans desperately need to find an answer. Jerich stuck in the corner. Didn't have the solution. They go back to Mirko Jerich. He is a sharpshooter.
He is a sniper, and he doesn't need much time to get it off. Talk about unusual shooting styles, LaMelo Ball. Jerich has one as well, but he is money. And as Trigger said, this 5 right now is really exciting. They're all playing with energy. Even the big fella, Josh Boone's come out with tremendous energy. And LaMelo, that's the shot you want to see him take. Feet set, great open look, and
after ball movement as well. I think that's going to be the key for him. Someone else has driven or it's gone inside out, not coming off and on ball and shooting a contested 3.
Anderson again facilitating Emmett. Nah, couldn't make it work, but Ogilvy on the offensive rebound. Ball thought about jacking it up, now does, with great success.
Oh, he's now made 3 from 4. And given the Illawarra Hawks some sort of belief as well.
He's up to 11 points as Jerich is fouled.
But this is what he can do. This is what he came out of high school doing. He's a streaky shooter, and if he starts to hit a couple, that rim just looks bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden he could be getting 6 of these in this game. Like, he will keep finding ways to get him up now that he's seeing this as we go in.
First time, Hammer, in NBL20 that LaMelo has hit 3 3-pointers in a game, and he's done it in a half here.
Yeah, well, it's been a real struggle, as we've spoken about, from the 3-point line. That last foul from Illawarra is one that you just can't commit on a 3-point shooter. They had all the momentum, build up a nice lead. They just needed to be able to carry a hand, try and get the stop. If they make that 3-point shot, then so be it. But he's only shooting 30% from the 3, so he's not somebody that you have to jump at with that sort of energy.
Back to the bench tonight. Mirko Jerich did start in a couple of games this season while DJ Newell was injured.
But I like him coming off the bench. He's that streaky guy as well, where if he hits a couple, he might get rolling. He brings in that injection, as we spoke about, Hammer. Their starting 5 is really good now, and who from the bench is going to consistently produce. But I like him as a little barometer coming off that bench.
Their last game against New Zealand only got 2 points from their bench, so it's a key focus for them coming into tonight. Anderson is putting on a clinic with the way that he's passing the ball. Couldn't make that one work, the Hawks. And they go back to the old-timer. He's got all the tricks.
Well, I love that from the Hawks. It was a broken play, but they found a way to be able to get it to Dave Anderson in the block. Just such a high percentage play from the vet.
At this rate, he's going to be playing till he's 50 if he keeps knocking that one down. That thing is money every single time. And I remember when I played with him a couple of years ago in that championship team in training, anytime he caught the ball that low, you'd just be like, well, that's a bucket.
Keep shooting the ball like this, Pete, there'll be more houses. More and more and more houses to add.
And to his credit, he is such a pro. I know you've played with him, and he looks after himself. His recovery, his preparation, his strength and conditioning, what he eats, the way he treats his body. He has been unbelievable. The 4-time Olympian, played all around the world, won it all around the world as well, and he is winding back the clock right now.
Down to Jarwhite. He rattles in and out. Anderson with the rebounds and the spring as well.
He's going to sleep well tonight at this rate.
When he started in the NBL, Cairns didn't exist. It's a long time ago now. Ball looking to drive and then feed to Ogilvy for the jam.
And that's what we're talking about, that he does at an elite level. He's unbelievable off the dribble and the pick and roll to be able to find his teammates.
10-point lead for the Hawks. Newell's response is short. The key word of energy that we keep talking about, it's there in spades. Anderson with a hand in the face.
He is special, isn't he? When he gets rolling, hopefully we'll see the pistols in the holsters. It's been a few years since we've seen that from DA.
Oh, I'm not sure that's the case. I thought that was a Hawks ball. Looked like it was off Cairns. Here's that drive from ball. Look at that. Drew the help from Nate Jawai. There was no help the helper, though. And then Dave Anderson in a little transition. He says, I can play with my back to the bucket. But how do you like this for a little pull-up in transition?
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. He sits down alongside his teammates with 10 points. So Friday night at the Armoury, it was the Bullets and Sydney in a game that was your traditional game of two halves, quite literally in every sense of the word. Brisbane so impressive early on and then went to sleep after that.
But you just felt it was coming. You just felt that Sydney were going to turn it around and doubted that Brisbane were able to maintain what they did in that first half. And this Sydney Kings lineup is just so complete at every level with all of the role players they've been able to put together. Great defense, a lot of scoring as well, a lot of leadership, some young guys as well, well coached. They're legit.
As you said, they're complete, and it's down the stretch. You have to put this Sydney team away early, because if any team that's got Casper Ware, he's going to take over down the stretch. And he did it again last night, as you see him there, real happy. But another one who stepped up, always has, but Jayshawn Tate down the stretch as well. When those two are really rolling, they're a tough unit.
What about Brad Newley?
Well, another consistent performer.
When you talk about depth and quality players, I mean, there's another one that's performed all around the world, and he was the Bunnings player of the game, and he was exceptional.
Jawai wanted the N1, but got an important bucket and got it back to a 10-point deficit. The lead was 12. Illawarra have not led by 12 at any stage this season. It's an impressive performance from them tonight. Dech to repeat the dose, and he does.
That is a massive shot. As you're just waiting for Cairns to start to get a little bit of momentum, they have to make those shots. And I like the change up on defense here from Matt Flynn.
Newell fills it up. Once more, back to 10. Challenge for Cairns, though, is to try and make some inroads in that deficit. Anderson falling away. No way.
And when he's in this mindset, you can't allow him to get catches in the block. You've got to three-quarter him, load up on the weak side, challenge them, but see whether they can find him over the top.
Well, you can't block it because he fades away so well. And as you said, if he catches it down there and he's seeing it like this go in, you may as well chalk it up for a bucket every time.
Leads all scorers with 12 points. It's been remarkable.
You do not see Nate Jawai shoot from that range. Normally it's only worth one for the big fella from there.
As much as we're talking about the difference in the Illawarra Hawks we've seen so far, I'm really impressed with the substitutions that he's made, Coach Flynn has made. Sunday Dech has come in, he's got 8 points, he's shooting with confidence, but he's had the right amount of these young energy guys with the veterans who are rolling. And they're all playing really well together, really unselfish basketball, and that's why they've got a lead right now. They get a couple stops on the end, they might be able to really push this thing out.
Well, they're shooting the ball at 56% from the field and 54% from the three-point line. So on fire at the moment, the Illawarra Hawks.
Ball back in. 11 points to his name and 3 trebles. Blanchfield guarded closely by Newell.
Is that a double dribble?
Absolutely.
Looked like it to me. Play went on. The Hawks will get the ball back here. Blanchfield off balance. Fires away. LaMelo tries to keep it alive. It's out of play.
Oh, Matty Flynn had that ball in the shot pocket too. Did you see him?
Yeah, he was ready to go.
Can't ever take a shooter out of the game, no matter how old they are. He was ready to go.
Let's have a look here. There's Blanchfield missing out, and there's Matty Flynn. Had it rolled on. He was ready to unload. Blanchfield ready to unload himself. He misses. Sunday Dech undersized against Nate Jawai.
Well, that's just hustle.
Exactly right.
And I love his game. He's tough. Haven't seen a lot of him, but what I have seen is that he's always giving 100%, getting himself in the right position at the right time.
That'll be a foul call against Big Nate. That'll be his 3rd personal foul.
What about Dech? 10 points, 4 from 6 from the field, 3 boards. Played some great defense.
Career high points tonight.
3 boards, 3 O boards, just crashing the glass, getting those extra efforts, and he's been tremendous along with Dave Anderson to start this game.
Timeout with 3:38 remaining before half-time. The earlier game today was the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix at home against the New Zealand Breakers. And this was a seriously impressive performance by the Phoenix against a team that many fancied coming into tonight in the Breakers.
Yeah, I mean, they've been quality, haven't they, Southeast Melbourne? Still some challenges to come, but this was the talking point out of this game. Hampton thrown out of the game with a tech foul and unsportsmanlike foul. Disappointing from where I saw it. That's Rice. And he had 18 points in the first half. I think he only scored 1 in the second half. Mitch Creek responsible for that shutdown. But the New Zealand Breakers can be very hot and cold, and we saw the best and worst of them again tonight.
And what we also saw, Pete, was a performance from Dane Pinot. 18 points, 7 rebounds, and it was almost a breakout game for him.
Well, he doesn't do anything flashy. He doesn't have to. He gets in the right spots. He does it well defensively as well, and he gets on the O boards. He's a kind of guy that everyone would want on your team. He doesn't care about stats. He just goes about his business, and all credit to him. He's had a tremendous start to this season.
And he's the perfect complement because he doesn't take away from anyone else. He plays all the little 1%ers, gets the offensive rebounds, does a good job screening, and allows the best players to do what they do. And he takes the crumbs. He didn't get any buckets where you throw it to him and say, go get us a bucket. He was just in the right place at the right time and stayed on the boards. He's been quality this year.
It puts the Phoenix up to 3rd on the Hungry Jacks NBL table after their win tonight. 3:28 to play before the main break. Illawarra controlling so much of this game. Ogilvy, good hands from Oliver. Just got a fingertip on it, which was enough. Newble for 3. Rattles off the front of the rim. Good strong rebound by Boone. And Mello up the other end is fouled, and down it goes.
Oh my! No, he didn't.
There it is. As we said, the rim, you're just seeing it bigger and bigger.
4-point play. Just not sure what Machado was doing there anyway. But that's a big bucket. Open 3 missed from Newble at one end, and then a possible 4-point play at the other end. A 7-point turnaround just like that for the Hawks.
Who are these Illawarra Hawks?
And where have they been?
That's what I mean. This is exciting to watch, and they're playing with confidence, and no more than this guy right here. 4 of 5 from 3, shooting 19% coming in.
It's good to see him smiling as well and enjoying himself. There's always a lot of pressure when he's out there. This is a big night for LaMelo Ball. He's got a chance to really fill up the stat sheet here and help his team to a big win. And they've opened this first half up in a major way. The Taipans need to respond, and they need to do it pretty significantly. Oliver at the other end with strength. And the turnover, he lays the tackle on DJ Newble. He stood up in the tackle in the end. Good core strength. Jerich was well short. The Hawks look good when they push the ball. Boone with the tip in.
Great extra efforts by Josh Boone. He started the game really well as well. 6 points, 4 boards, and just hanging around the rim. That's what you got to do.
5 rebounds for Josh Boone to go with his 8 points. Jerich gives this one up. It's deflected out of play. Pete, you spoke about Illawarra coming into this game. Talk to you about their second quarters in a moment, but there was Cam Oliver with muscle. We're seeing more and more of these each week, and then just the one focus, which was the basketball, and really cleaned up DJ Newble in the process. Newble's going to get himself to the line.
Well, for me, he's going to be the man that has the opportunity to get Cairns back into this game. Such an aggressive player when he's got the ball in his hands, but he's going to have to continue to make plays, bring guys like Cameron into it. Machado has to start making things happen as well, and we spoke about the fact that he doesn't always get going in that first half, but sometimes you have to tonight he's only got 4 points. He has not taken a field goal, and he's got 1 assist and 3 turnovers in what is one of the biggest matchups of the season for him against Ball, who is absolutely schooling him with 15 points and 5 assists.
It's one of the key individual matchups coming in, and it's pretty one-sided at this stage. Much like the scoreline itself, as Newell rolls home the second. The Hawks up to 52, which is the first time in NBL 20 that they've got themselves to 50 by the half. Dech was almost going to pull the trigger. Instead, ball hard to the basket. No foul call. Machado, he heard hammer and he fires away.
And that's what his team needs him to do. He's not playing for the Sydney Kings or Melbourne United. He has to take some sort of responsibility of putting points on the board as well, because he's more than capable. He's a great shooter.
He was 1 of 8 from outside the arc in his last 3 games coming into tonight. That will be good for his confidence. Blanchfield missing out, got the rebound, and then fires away himself. He couldn't make it happen. Ogilvy draws a foul.
That's 14 offensive rebounds for the Hawks and only 2 for the Cairns Taipans. So this is the effort that they've been able to come with, and the mindset, and that's translated to how many field goal attempts they've had. So 44 field goal attempts for the Illawarra Hawks, only 29 for Cairns. And whilst there's not a big differential in their field goal percentage, it's the effort and the extra possessions they're creating for themselves.
When the teams played in round 2, it was this man from the free throw line late, AJ Ogilvy, that made a couple of clutch free throws to lock the result away. Goes 2 from 2. 14-point lead to the Hawks. The Taipans with some thinking to do at half-time. Newell, sloppy pass. Deng reels it in, sends it cross-court. Jeric gave it back to Deng. Nice touch. LaMelo with the skip pass, Boone with the catch, and the points will count.
The audacity to throw a baseball pass off one leg to a guy who's got 3 guys around him. But that's what he can do. He just sees things that other players don't, and for an 18-year-old to have that kind of talent embedded is incredible.
Deng, late in the quarter, hits an important 3.
There is no doubt that this man Ball is an exceptional talent when it comes to passing and being able to attack off the dribble.
Four-second differential between shot and game clock. LaMelo to cap off a great first half. He's off target. Dech gets it back and nails another deep ball.
My goodness. Sunday Dech, 13 points. 3 of 3, hasn't missed from outside. Way to go, young fella. Great first half from you.
Some sort of shooting display from the Illawarra Hawks, and this is a major buffer that they take into halftime. 59-40, knocking off the Breakers. What needs to change for the Taipans in particular in this second half?
It's got to start with the energy, and it's got to start with the defense, the rebounding to be able to get those. We spoke about the fact 25-7 in the rebounding count, and they have to play with a little bit more energy, as they have right there getting to the bucket to get this local home crowd going.
That's how you do it. Kawatnoy had a quiet first half. Just the 4 points, but that's a good way to start the second half. Averaging 10.5 for the season.
And this sort of lead is nothing in modern day basketball. We see these sort of turnarounds happen all the time, and Cairns just get any sort of momentum, and particularly if the Hawks dry up. They've been shooting the ball so well. All of a sudden, if they're not making buckets, the pressure turns around.
Dave Anderson was such a spark in the first half. That one rattles in and out. Noy pushing the ball for the Taipans. They've got an extra. Through the legs, the pass from Oliver, and up goes Deng.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. You get a stop at one end, transition to the other, and their second opportunity for a three-point play in the first 37 seconds of the second half.
And this is the way Cairns have to play for 40 minutes. They have the talent in this starting five. Everyone is extremely talented at scoring the ball if you put it down to it. So be unselfish, share the ball, move it quick, and as you see there, they're going to the line for their second three-point play.
And that is the opening 6 points of the period. And they've thrown the gauntlet down early. Ogilvy, out of control, was allowed to play on. Ball on the glass, wins the ball back for the Hawks. Cutting through traffic. Off balance, threw it up in the end. Ran into a brick wall. He stays down in back play. Noy pulls the trigger. That's short. And he can't keep it alive. He and Deng trying to work together.
But as Hammer said, the energy, and you see two guys trying to chase down the O-board. It's a different Cairns Taipans already in this opening minute.
And the pressure does swing. If the Hawks take a few minutes to be able to get on the board and they see the opposition running and the crowd starts to get into the game, they will be tested in this third quarter.
Sunday Dech. Mello had a good look at it. It's the back of the rim. Let's get down to Cam.
Yeah, boys, a very emotional Cam Oliver going into the locker room at halftime. Gave his team an absolute rev up as well as himself. So I expect these Taipans to come out very fired up. And I'm with Hammer. If they go a few empty trips here for Illawarra as LaMelo knocks down a beautiful runner, some anxiety could creep in for these Hawks.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see a bit of it already, Cam. Spot on. And passion from Oliver, that's good to hear. Jared's trap baseline. And Deng loses the handle. He's not overly pleased with the call from the official. But they've made a dent in the deficit, the Taipans, to start this third quarter. Anderson a long way from the cup, almost the steal from Oliver. Ogilvy driving towards the basket. Gets contact.
The hands foul. 2 shots. Go, guys.
That's a good foul. You want to be able to challenge AJ Ogilvy to make them at the free throw line. We know he can be a little bit up and down from the line.
60% on the season from the stripe.
Real confidence player as well. You see him, if he's taking his shot, not holding his follow through and then walking towards the ball as it goes, you know, playing with the little mental demons upstairs.
Lead is 9. Machado nailed a big three late in the second period, which helped give a bit of momentum going into halftime for the Taipans. Newell with 5 on the shot clock. Guarded by Ogilvy. Got him up in the air. Hands off to Oliver. Shot clock ticks away in the background, and Ogilvy got a hand on the plate.
I thought that was a poor possession by Cairns. Both players gave up open shots to be able to let that run out.
Ogilvy with a party trick over his head. Ball comes up with the rebound. Sends Jeric one way, then the other. Cutting baseline. Still okay in some room for Dech, but he backs himself into a corner. Blanchfield with the floater.
Wasn't the prettiest possession either, but it was good to see all the different attack on the rim. Ball moving the hands eventually, and that's a great finish by Todd, who DA said they want to get more looks for.
Wasn't exactly polished at either end, but the result's all that matters. Oliver, up he goes. With the nice lob.
Great pass, wasn't it, from Machado? Really drew the big man in that pick and roll. Great touch over the top to the athletic Oliver.
He's creating some sort of highlight reel here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, Cam Oliver. A great recruit he's been from Oakland, California. Anderson at the other end. And touch once more.
He missed the one before that. He's not going to miss too many of them when he's having a game like this.
He's got 14 points. Illawarra have got 4 of the 5 leading scorers in the game. The ball with the steal in the open court. LaMelo Ball lays it up on the left.
It's a great finish, isn't it? He's just got that poise and feel in transition. The open court, great angles of being able to cut off the big fella and being able to get his feet right to block him.
All of the momentum that Cairns were bringing in. The bubble's been burst once more. LaMelo up to an equal game, a season high, I should say, 19 points. This time passing. Blanchfield, Anderson, tough too. Hits the front of the rim. Jerich, lob to Oliver, misses out. That was one for the highlight reel. And Ogilvie called for the foul. Tensions starting to run high. Not for the first time today.
Well, Trigger spoke about Cam Oliver's energy, and you saw it there. And as Hammer said, there was a 3 before the last one he took. It was the most open one. He should be taking that first one. And he spoke about his athleticism. He just back-rimmed that one a little there. And
that was good D from Ogilvie, really being able to get that block. I think it was him swinging his arms around that Oliver didn't appreciate after the call.
Tension rising between these two. Blanchfield, feet set, good.
That is a big bucket, and that is a penalty for DJ Newble, trying to go over that little pin down and allowing that flare to the corner for the pocket 3.
Blanchfield's worked himself up to 8 points on 3 of 9. Newble driving, blocked by Josh Boone, extends his long arms, and then stolen by Ball. This is an exciting Illawarra team that we're watching tonight. Ball in isolation, steps back on Oliver. No good with the 3. Newble. Pass for Jerich, who's got a tough finish. Tough catch and tough finish.
It really was. You don't want to be relying on buckets like that to get yourself back into the game. Again, Illawarra out to the races, and it's Boone leading the break. Great kick ahead pass again from LaMelo Ball. And this is, the stat man told us before we went on air, he said this is the first challenge that Cairns have had where they've been favourites.
Yeah.
And they haven't answered that challenge. They've come into this game like they've earned some right to be able to win this game against a team that's struggling. And that attitude wasn't the same as when they went to Perth. They need to turn that around. They need to turn it around quick.
Meanwhile,
was that a... I was talking to you guys. Did he just throw an air ball?
I'm going to give him credit and say the air conditioning's on up in Cairns, but...
Air conditioning? Is it a hurricane?
It's not one he's going to want to see again. Luckily for him, the second went down.
Barely.
3:30 to play in the third. Jerich off the screen. And some confusion by the Hawks, and that opened the door for Jerich to get his own rebound.
And look, LaMelo Ball, we talked about his rebounding ability. That one probably is Josh Boone's. He's right there. There's no one else around him, and you just cause that confusion, and that's 2 points that you can't afford to give up. Unless...
And Boone's missed another feed from LaMelo Ball. Earlier in the season, there was a highlight that Boone missed out on the dunk, and that's missing out again.
Krislovic.
Fabian Krislovic.
Oh, my.
Well, we spoke about them needing energy. That's one way to do it. Sub in for your first minutes of the game and knock down an open 3-ball.
Averaging 6 points on the season. 75% from outside the arc. Ball one way than the other. He's drawn a foul, but
No basket.
won't be heading to the line.
Hand.
4th team foul now for Cairns, so Illawarra want to stay in attack mode to be able to get themselves to the free throw line.
Matt Flynn watching on. Just the one win for the season for Illawarra, and it came against the Taipans late in round 2. Emmett Nah. Dangerous pass, but Blanchfield made it work. And his mid-range too is money.
Great pull through. He could have just settled for that shot, but pulled through. Great little touch close to the bucket.
Just keep continually having an answer. Every time Cairns start to score multiple buckets, Illawarra get one back and stem the flow straight away.
Well, we spoke about Todd Blanchfield needing to be able to create something where the Mello's on the floor because he can't have things ran for him, and he could have settled for that or held it to pass it off. So it's good to see him do something different, put it on the floor, and he's got great control with that little floater with the one-hander. It looks like his normal jump shot. He just drops the left hand and floats it up there, and it's good signs so far in this third from Todd Blanchfield.
TJ Newell comes out of the game with 9 points, 4 turnovers as well. Jawai checking back in, and straight away down the low block they head. Jared Kenny thought about giving it off, instead went himself for 3.
Well, they're going to need someone to stand up, and it's going to have to happen on the boards as well. Again, Illawarra 30 rebounds to 15 for the Hawks.
It's been a struggle all season for the Taipans. On the glass, Sunday Dech has Josh Boone underneath.
Great drive and dish. And again, that's exactly where Boone wants the ball, after a drive and dish.
Boone finds his way to 13 points. Krislovic out of control. Conrad comes up with it. The Hawks can look to score for their last 2 trips offensively. Boone will settle for that from the elbow. Misses out. Nah with the putback.
Another offensive board and another guy off the bench coming in, just playing with more energy, more physicality.
You can't flop on that. You've got to stand your ground. You've got to get into their legs and take that defensive boards and get out into the open court.
Hands from Boone, and Cairns will get it back. Jawai, 6 on the shot clock. Back to the basket. Josh Boone having none of it.
Great one-on-one defense in the block by Big Boone.
Sunday Dech, who's having a night out, like many of his Illawarra teammates. He will be the man. 3 on the shot clock from deep. Off target. Conrad came up with it. 3 Cairns players just stood there and looked at the ball. Now Emmett Nah off the window. Cairns to try and score from the final possession. Jerich pulls the trigger and scores an important late bucket. It's a 10-point difference between these 2 teams. The top 1988. What were you doing in 1988, Pete?
I was not even been produced yet at that stage, but make sure we know that Hammer did that 5 times as well.
Thank you. I did tell you in the break, so I appreciate
Yeah, you did. You wrote it on both of our notepads, so we couldn't get it
Anything else
wrong.
you want to know?
Well, we've got a quarter here. A quarter for Illawarra to put the emphasis on the result, but Cairns will certainly want to have their say on that. 10-point deficit to start the last. Jerich hard to the basket with 1 to come.
Well, and this is exactly the same way they started the third quarter, with a 3-point play, but the Hawks were able to do a good job to wrestle back momentum. Can they do it in this final quarter?
And that's what Mirko Jeric does. He brings that energy off the bench. We spoke about him being a barometer, and he just comes in and, as CEO said it at halftime, he's that kind of energy guy, and you've got a green light coming off the bench as a shooter to make these kind of plays, and he's playing with energy and firing up the Taipans.
Played 8 games at Illawarra as a 17-year-old Mirko Jeric in 2013 before heading overseas as Blanchfield gets tangled up with Noi. Nah, deep pass to Sunday Dech, who got Kenny up in the air. What a shooting display he's putting on.
Oh my, 4 from 5 from the 3-point line. That's not normally his go. He's getting it done tonight.
Back to 10 points once more. Ogilvy and Jawai are wrestling on the low block. Jeric, he can't come up with the 2. Kenny can come up with the rebound to Cameron Oliver. Jeric tried to tap it on. Only Hawks waiting for the ball, though. Nah, wide open. Oh, it's their night.
That is not pretty, but he will take it. Oh, my. Not out of the textbook, but what a dagger for the Hawks at that stage of the game.
Tough finish from Noi. 2 more.
48% from 3-point line for the Illawarra Hawks. It's a completely new side that we're used to seeing, and it's great viewing, and everyone's shooting the ball with confidence, and none other than Sunday Dech leading the way.
It's been a remarkable night from outside the arc. Ogilvy from just inside the arc. Blanchfield with the rebound, and the Hawks can reset. Anderson. Pete, that's all yours.
I think his controller got stuck there. Controller got stuck. He had a little double tap of the shot button, and we'll let that one slide. He's had a terrific game. I'd hate to see us focus on that one.
He got up in the air, and then the options changed, unfortunately, for the veteran. Cairns needing multiple scores and to try and obviously stop Illawarra at the other end. Machado's had a quiet night. It's an awkward pass for Noi. Taipans ball from the baseline with 10 on the shot clock.
Well, Machado's been disappointing tonight. 9 points, only 2 from 2 from the field. Just not enough attempts. Hasn't been aggressive enough. 2 assists and 3 turnovers. But the good thing is for him, it's not too late. 7.5 to go. This is the time that a Casper Ware will stand up in the game and bring his team home.
Oliver throws up a prayer. A scrappy play from the Taipans. Ball with 19 points. Hands off to David Anderson. That time more effective.
Charged the control of the big fella and let that one fly, and that's another welcoming side. And as you said about Machado, I don't think he has a game this year in a negative assist to turnover ratio. So, as you said, he's got 7 minutes to change it, but right now, he's getting killed down the other end by LaMelo Ball.
What an addition that this has been for NBL TV now. EuroLeague games. We've got all of the live and historic games in the one place, but now we've got EuroLeague as well. You can stream up to 4 EuroLeague games each and every week, plus highlights of every single game. We've got the condensed game replays as well. It's the best Australian action available. Former NBL players are there this season as well. Jacob Wiley, Brock Modem, and Jock Landau. You can get your NBL and your EuroLeague action. You can basically just spend all day on NBL TV.
How's that?
It's as easy as that.
Good, isn't it? You like it? The EuroLeague's fantastic basketball to watch as well. So I certainly will be tuning in. Landale, how good was he at the World Cup as well? Big future for that man. He won't be in the EuroLeague for too long. He'll be in the NBA, and I reckon it'll happen next year.
I hope so. I think he's just taking tremendous strides forward, and I remember watching him in college, and I was like, oh, he might have a little ways to go, but he's proven everybody wrong.
Yeah, he looks like he's benefiting from playing against adults. It seems to suit his style of play more.
Which is what you bring up, which is why LaMelo Ball is going to be such a tremendous pro when he gets drafted. He's playing against adult men, and as you said, Scott Machado, who I played against Scott Machado in college, and he was a beast then, and he's been doing really well, and what LaMelo's done tonight's been outstanding.
LaMelo has 19 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Illawarra leading the way like they have done for the entire night. Just 1 point separated the teams at quarter time. The Hawks scoring 37 points in the second quarter, making their move. Deng from deep. Off target. Noy with the rebound. It's off his hands last and out of play.
Looked like there might have been a little bit of contact there. But you've got to tip your hat to the Hawks so far. They've really just been able to answer every time that they've been jabbed by the Cairns Taipans. You just feel momentum's being changed, but they've been able to get it done time and time again so far.
And as you see the Hawks with a 14-point lead, it's a season-high 22 offensive boards, and you don't teach offensive boards. It comes down to effort, and whatever Matt Flynn has said pre-game or in their last break, they've come a world apart, and they've been awesome tonight with their energy and effort.
Well, and 5 players in double figures. That man, Dave Anderson, starting 17 points, 8 from 11 from the field.
Ball tried to find Boone underneath and couldn't. Heavily populated Kiwi. Machado. More of that, please.
Well, he can do that. He's shown that he can knock down that 3-ball, and even see his first instinct was to pass it.
Exactly. He was going to say exactly the same thing. And then he reverted back. But again, only 3 field goal attempts tonight. Has not missed. Just hasn't been aggressive enough.
Boone had the mismatch against Machado and drew the foul.
And that's a good foul from Machado. Serious mismatch, as you called. So on the pass, it's easier to try and slap that. Get the foul called and reset. There's time, but things are going to need to go right.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to get some stops.
It'll be against the flow, that is for sure. Blanchfield grabbed the loose ball and headed baseline. Just on the Hawks shooting stats tonight, Hammer, coming in, they were 9th in the competition for field goals, free throws and 3-pointers. And here is your WhatsApp question, Pete. How's it gone?
Well, 70% said they should bring him in, and I'm sure that'll be mostly the Ball family fans, but it'd be a surprising one. But we're talking about people to bring in. The current NBA prospect, the 1-1 pick, is supposedly ineligible this year. James
Wiseman.
James Wiseman, that would be a massive pickup.
That would be very good. But some of the names that have been thrown around are going to be a lot better than Paul's brother. Let's be honest. They're talking about some NBA stars. They're talking about coming in to replace Aaron Brooks, who played 685 NBA games.
So you're telling me LeVar's got hold of the Telstra and just texting all in, saying yes?
I'm just saying I don't necessarily agree with the percentage that voted.
He's used all the credit on his prepaid SIM card, I think. LeVar texting in tonight on WhatsApp.
I haven't seen
off
him
to the
play
free throw line.
That's a good take.
Well, you're right, and they put the video out about some of those names on the board, and there's some extremely exciting players on there. So whoever they do manage to get, you got to be sure that he's going to fill a role that Aaron Brooks was.
Kawanoy started in every game in NBL 20. Nine points on the night to go with his 2 rebounds. Averaging 10 points for the season. And he gets there now. Still a 10-point difference between these two teams. 5:45 to play in the final period. Ball drags it all the way back out. Trying to get busy. High off the window. He misses. And up the other end, Oliver laying it up for the Taipans. Matt Flynn calls a timeout just to halt the momentum.
And that is a great timeout from Matt Flynn. He doesn't want to lose momentum in this game and allow the crowd to get involved.
Taipans scored the last 6 points in the game, but this is our OMG moment of the night. Not for the first time this year we've said OMG about Cam Oliver. This man can climb.
He is an extremely athletic individual, and Cairns need more of that. He brings excitement and he brings energy. And as Trigger said, he had some few words to say at half-time. And he's obviously their barometer in terms of energy. So they're going to need a lot from him in these last 5 minutes to win this ball game.
Get under if it's really soft, but bigs need to talk that, okay? If you're yelling green, 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 it's a straight switch. Let the guard know, okay? Offensively right now, I want to play out of some 5 up, okay? So you guys got the ball in your hands, okay? Jook, you're coming through. We're working that thing off of Cam. You're coming up to set that thing. Putting your head on the rim. You put your head on the rim, and we got spacers for you. Hey,
Yep. Your man gonna help. So we ready?
Hey, defensively, face right here. Get a steal. Face. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Mike Kelly, in his second season at the Taipans, just enforcing to his men they need to get a steal.
And talking about Cam Oliver, I mean, he's got the potential. We saw that athleticism there to be as good as most imports in the competition. But when you're playing in a home game like this, a game that you're expected to be able to win, he's got 4 rebounds with that sort of athleticism. And they're being beaten 38-19. He has to go and dominate every rebound and then still be able to contribute at the offensive end as well.
6 points belong to the Taipans. Dave Anderson spending too long in the keyway. The crowd of 5,092. Taipans' biggest crowd of the season so far, albeit from a small sample size, but just sensing that their team is not done with yet. Inside 5 minutes left. Oliver in the low block, spinning away on Josh Boone with a hand in the face. It was a tough finish. Loose ball, and the Hawks come up with it. Here's LaMelo. He wanted a foul, and he's got the ball back. Machado went to sleep. Fast hands from LaMelo Ball, and he's got 21.
Oh, and he does have great hands. And that was a ball that he needed to be able to pull out, take time off the clock. He went with it, but bailed himself out with those quick hands and the steal.
It came from nowhere, and then he draws the offensive foul.
And a great defensive play. Again, you throw the ball into the block, you need to be smart. Have a look at Ball. No, he's there. Just use that off arm to be able to clear ball out. Just need to be smarter.
And as you said, that's great defense, and a lot of people coming over into the league unaware of how to properly defend that post, but his hands are up. He never lowered them, never looked like going for the steal, and just made a great play.
Some momentum that Cairns had is starting to be quelled. Ball to Boone. Alley-oop.
That is one way to get that free throw erased from the memory, and he is having a terrific game. 15 and 7 off the pine, but what an unbelievable pass.
Amazing. He just continues to show how elite he is going to be at the next level. 21 points and 8 assists, but it's the touch. To be able to drive at that pace and with one hand just be able to throw it in the air. Have a look at this. No second hand. Just throws it up with perfection. Puts it to him on a platter, and the big fella goes bang.
He wasn't missing that one. He's been in that situation before. Nudged out in that rebounding contest, and Cam Oliver just with muscle forces it back in, and he's got one free throw to come.
As you look at the stats and the 20-point differential in rebounds and the 20 extra field goal attempts, it's astounding this is almost a 9-point game right now.
This really is a great effort from them, but look at Cairns. Brisbane at home, another big challenge. Perth at home, Illawarra away, Melbourne at home, and we know how tough the NBL is.
Doesn't get any easier, does it? No freebies in the competition this year. Oliver once again climbing high. Boone's put that ball into the stands, but the foul came before that.
Now, you've got to tip your hat to the Illawarra Hawks and Matt Flynn. After a tough run like that, it's tough to be able to keep the group together, motivate them. We see the foul trouble bottom left of screen. Deng now with 4, but good effort for them to be able to stay together, adjust that starting 5, throw the veteran in there. And they've been able to answer every jab that the Cairns Taipans have had. And for the Cairns Taipans, they have to learn from this game. They can't come out again with this sort of intent compared to the way they've played in other games when they beat Melbourne United and beat the Perth Wildcats on the road.
Stark contrast in many ways to a couple of those performances. Hammer, as you said, the win against Melbourne was just super impressive.
Yeah.
Smart play from ball, kept it alive, and the Hawks get it beyond halfway. Sunday Dech, 16 points. LaMelo Ball, 21. To add 3 more. Goodness.
There is the dagger, Pete. You said he was streaky. 5 from 10.
But they're the right ones to take, and that's the huge thing. They go under, they leave you way open from the 3. Your feet are set and knocks them down.
Blanchfield looking to get deep. Instead, kicks it back out. Once more in the hands of LaMelo, who's feeling it. Through the legs, through the legs, through the legs, shoots. Anderson comes up with the offensive rebound. Here's the Hawks' next 4 games. They've got Sydney in the rivalry game, which will be a challenge for them on Saturday. The Taipans again, as we spoke about. The Breakers away, Brisbane away. This win will carry them with some good confidence into that next challenging period. So a timeout called with 2:46 remaining. We thought we had our OMG moment of the night. This takes the cake.
Well, that's a great finish, but the OMG for me is the pass from Ball, of being able to do that at speed. Beautiful touch, just throwing it up. It could not have been a more perfect pass. And if I could go anywhere near the rim, I would have loved to pass like that.
Well, you're right, and he looked like he could have scooped it up for a layup when we know he's got a nice floater, and he just put it on an absolute platter for Josh Boone, who has 15 and 7. And I mean, good luck to whoever's picking the Bunnings Warehouse player of the game, because there's been a few standouts who have helped them.
Are you serious? There's not a standout on that stat sheet?
LaMelo Ball has been absolutely terrific, and there's no doubt about it. But I'm talking about in terms of the Illawarra Hawks as a whole. You look at guys like David Anderson, what he did to start the game.
He's been great.
Sunday Dech, 16 points.
He's been great.
4 rebounds, 5 assists, not a single blemish.
But Ball's got 24 points and 8 assists against Machado, who's got 12 points and 2 assists.
So now that LaMelo is past 20, and Hammer wanted us to show this one more time.
I think we've got another couple. We've got enough time for 2 more shows, I think. That is a long time ago.
We've got a
same hairdo, but long time ago.
Post-game show we can stick around for, and you can tell us more about it if you want. War Stories with Hammer. Blanchfield to add insult to injury.
Dech again.
With the rebound. He's been everywhere.
And his defense has been outstanding as well.
Ball off balance. That was interesting. Shot clock ticking away. It didn't hit the rim. So Anderson's 2 won't count. 5 players in double figures for the Hawks.
Well, my question, Hammer, do you remember that game? Do you remember who it was against? The youngest player to score 20?
Of course he does.
No, I have no idea. I remember my highest score that year was against Westside Saints.
There you go.
I remember that.
Which 1988 we've established that Pete wasn't even born at that stage.
He's younger than my kids.
113. Hold. 2. Team foul.
I know one thing though, I didn't feel young when I was playing in the NBL.
Really?
I didn't feel like I was young. When you look back, you realise I was young.
Two to come here for Dech. 17 points and 5 rebounds when the two teams played in round 2.
One.
And he'll get to the free throw line. So he goes 3 of 3 from the night.
You have to have a stop there, but you have to get it covered. That's what.
Ball coming out for a bit of a graze on his elbow, but
Got to be a sub.
he was saying to the official, "I'm not bleeding."
No, I think it's pretty clear. He's trying to come back on, but it doesn't work like that.
Sub. Come on.
The official did say that. So
I love his enthusiasm, though. Look, mate, I fixed it up. I want to come back on.
Matty, get his shirt changed. Get his shirt changed.
And he's got blood on his shirt, so we're going to have to get that changed before he's allowed back on.
they better do it quick because he's pretty keen to get back out
Someone's
there.
going to tell him, or Sunday Dech is coming for this player of the game.
You're showing that.
Just in the background there, we can see a Hawks official having to run to the locker room to try and get an extra. It's Jerich. A decent night shooting the basketball, but lays it off to Machado. Newble from deep.
Oh, my. That has been the night at Cairns Taipans, hasn't it? That's a shot you would expect Newble to step up and make. But have a look at the body language. They're down 3 threes with a minute 35 to go, and it's like they're down 20.
Well, it's a 9-point game, but it's never felt like that. It's felt like Illawarra has absolutely dominated them from start to finish. So, as you said, it's only 3 threes. It's
Ball's back out there with a new singlet. Inside 90 seconds. One possession to really just ice the game for Illawarra. Sunday Dech. Blanchfield's got 3 on the shot clock to work with. He's short. Newble's last attempt drew oxygen. This time he's going to get to the free throw line. Points are going to count.
Well, that was always going to count. Great take from Newble. Got fouled, and you always want to be throwing it up, even though it's a little chance of going in. That time he got lucky. Makes this, and they're back to 6.
Here we go, boys. Here we go. Line up, please.
You're right, Hammer. The last minute and a half, the last 2 minutes, there's been no urgency from the Cairns Taipans. It's at most in the last 3 minutes been 10 points, which is absurd that they haven't put the foot on the pedal and known that, hey, we're still in this game.
Yeah, trying to make something happen, but the body language from Cairns has been very different tonight. You looked at the passion from LaMelo Ball when there was blood. He had anxiety. He wanted to get back out there, wrap me up. I want to play. I haven't seen that from Cairns tonight.
Newble rattles home the extra. Timeout with 1:06 remaining. It's not out of the realms of possibility, not by any stretch.
Well, if you look at the body language, it is, isn't it? They're just limping towards that timeout. You want to see people running and telling each other, we're in this, fellas, we need a stop and a score, and we go again.
You manage to get a stop here, you take off a shot clock worth from the game clock, and you get a quick score, and there's still 35, 40 seconds left, and you're only down 4 or 3. This game is well and truly on, so you're right, Hammer. It's, if you took the scoreboard away, you wouldn't think it was anywhere near as close as it is.
Illawarra have done all the heavy lifting in this game. Matt Flynn, no doubt, reminding his men to see it through. Dave Anderson, in many ways, has led the way for Illawarra. We've spoken a lot about Ball and his performance, but David Anderson, 17 points, 8 rebounds. It's been a fantastic performance.
He set the tone, didn't he? He really did. He's a man amongst boys. Just have a look at the experience that he's got. He made big shots, shot the ball at a high percentage, but more than anything else, he gave his teammates confidence that they had somebody they could lean on. And I had worries about the Illawarra Hawks coming into this game and was genuinely excited about the way Cairns had played. And I expected this to be complete opposite results, but kudos to the Illawarra Hawks. They have done exceptionally well tonight. Look at that man.
Well, I said I wanted to see the pistols and the holsters, and he brought it out. He's like a fine wine, David Anderson. He's just getting on there with age, and he set the tone.
8 of 11 from the field. A lot of green on that shot chart. Hawks into their half court. Here he is on the mismatch on Miko Jeric. Blanchfield in the corner to ice it, deflected by Oliver. Dech's got to get it away with one on the shot clock.
He's making a late run, Peter Hooley.
Sunday, Dech, stand up, young fella.
Cairns will try and score early in the offense. Newble out of control. And Illawarra are going to go home very happy.
Well, they're down 8. Why was DJ Newble hell-bent on getting to the bucket down 8 with 35 seconds to go? They needed to be able to get a 3 up quick, put the pressure back on. Unsportsmanlike foul here. 2 shots in possession. And the Illawarra Hawks take a bow. This has been impressive and done by committee, by a team that came with some spirit to be able to get a big win on the road.
Sunday, Dech, 18 points on 4 of 5 from outside the arc. He's never scored beyond 7 points in an NBL game.
Well, and they were shooting the ball at 26% from the 3-point line before this game. Shot it at 42% tonight and held the Cairns Taipans to only 29%. So impressive.
I guess the only gift
Don't do it to
the
him.
Hawks could do that haven't done tonight is give the gift of cheeseburgers to the Taipans fans.
We played too well. He was never going to give them.
No consolation burger.
Go get 20, young fella.
It's a great point about just the game awareness in the last 4 or 5 minutes from the Taipans hasn't been there, and highlighted by that DJ Newbill play just before.
Blanchfield driving hard. He'll get himself to the free throw line as well. Foul called on Oliver. It will be his second. They're stunned in many ways, the crowd here tonight. This was not what they were expecting.
Now for the Illawarra Hawks, this is a great upset on the road. But now for them to be able to replicate this. Can Dench do this again? He's impressive tonight. They might have unearthed somebody that can contribute for the rest of the year. Sometimes when you have one person go down, another one gets an opportunity, get a chance to be able to find a little gem.
And it just looked like they all, when it started from David Anderson, everybody wanted to just chime in with energy and effort. And you'd be amazed as a young fella, if you get something going energy-wise, whether it's a steal or an offensive board, things start to roll and confidence is huge. And here he is, a chance to get a 20-piece nugget on the road.
Don't you love it?
He's selling hard, Pete, isn't he?
He is.
I don't know who picks it.
I'm starting to buy in. But Ball's been impressive.
He has.
But this young man has as well. Very tough to pick.
Well, the Ball's ability to pass the ball and where he's given his teammate the rock at the right time, he's come up big. But either way, give 2 of them. I don't know if we can. Give 2 of them.
In the final stages, Jeric with a late bomb. He certainly held up his end of the bargain. Career high 19 points for him tonight. But it's all about Illawarra. 2 wins for the season, both of them coming against the Cairns Taipans. And a big win on the road tonight, 101-91, in their most impressive performance of NBL 20.
Oh, no doubt about that. And great